With the wood done, let's take a look at the legs. And we would like, in this case now, look how we can create a very easy and good looking chrome material. So when I select my leg, click new, then I can type in chrome and let's move this up a little bit. Can set roughness down to 0. To make something metallic chrome as metal, we can't use specular. We should use metallic. And that is actually the correct slider for metallic reflectivity. Again, the main difference, if you want to see it this way, between specular and metallic, specular reflections are white and metallic reflections are tinted by the color of the metal. So a copper surface will have a copper colored reflection. To see the reflections in this model, we also have to turn on screen space reflections. Otherwise, that part is actually missing. And there, when we zoom in, there we can see the reflectivity. We have the slider for the roughness we can put on it. So not too complicated. With the metallic slider, based on how high we set this, now we can make something more or less reflective. But a metal surface or chrome, it's just reflective. But it's not super polished. Nothing really in real life is super polished. And it's good if we add a little bit of roughness to it. Ideally, to figure out what type of settings to use, we need to study real-world objects. They can all be a little bit different. And the best tip I can give everybody who is new in this, create a material box of examples, plastic, silicone, wood, whatever you can find. And take photos of it, maybe in an environment, and see in the photos how things look. This really will help you understanding how to match virtual materials to real world materials. Now let's turn this into rendering. The scene is a little bit dull. Okay, so we need to add a light. There's an area light. Let's move this one up to here. Kind of nice. Okay, cool. Oh, what type of rendering or lighting should we do for this one? Maybe here. No, I do my usual. I go to the site. So here is 0. Then 90 degrees minus, a little bit down, maybe to here, maybe a little bit to there and there, a little bit along the Z direction. Okay, so I get kind of like the light shined onto it. So setting up chrome materials is actually, or metallic materials, in the basic format. Now, color. So we want to make this copper. There's kind of copper. Now you can see actually how the reflection is very tinted, just for reference. You see how this is white. And with the roughness, the settings aren't really that complicated. But everything looks a little bit empty. And that is, interestingly, one of the discoveries or problems beginners come across when they say, hey, here's my reflective surface, but the reflection looks wrong. Actually, the reflection looks correct. It's just the scene is empty, which gives you the feeling of our chrome here is wrong. Okay, now we have nothing there. It's just a gray something. Let's add a plane. Wow, instantly we start seeing there's stuff coming. The light here, we want to give a contact shadow. Very good. Maybe in edit mode, select the back edge, E and Z. We'll bring this one up a little bit. Maybe both a little bit closer. And could give this a this one a bevel. 10 profile 0.5. Okay. That's kind of cool how it casts a drop shadow onto it. I want to keep this actually more vertical. So the shadow will be, as you can see, more lined up. If we push this back, it gets very, very stretched. This could look actually a little bit awkward. And maybe here, this fillet we make a little bit smaller. 0.6. Yeah. Okay, very good. So if you take a look at the chrome now, you can see there's a lot more happening, giving you the feeling of, oh yeah, it's a metallic lag. And obviously, the more we start adding to it, the more we add in terms of environment, the richer the chrome will look. Now, one little tip I could give you, try not to render, let's say here we set this to 80% white. Now with this one, it washes everything out. Don't set this to 0, because then you get super black environmental reflections. An environment is black, so the chrome reflects that. Make this 0.1 or 0.05. 0.025. 0.5 actually was fine. Now you see this is not black, there's more like something grayish. One note about the reflections now and with working with Eevee. So Eevee is screen spaced. What does screen spaced mean? When I zoom to here, you can see there's a reflection of this the wood reflection on it. But it's actually, the reason why it's so fast is the software can see this, and then on the screen it simply projects it over the metallic surface. Think about it like a real-time Photoshop filter. If I zoom in and zoom out, you notice how actually the side of my leg gets gray and then it gets darker. Well, where's my light? This clearly should actually show my light. The problem is this light, now actually it can reflect it because the light is inside our view. The moment we start actually not having it in our view, this render engine, because it's real time, can't take it into consideration. So that's just actually one tiny downside of this real-time engine. When we actually go to cycles, which is more realistic but slower, then there you can see how these lags, they all reflect the environment appropriately. There's not really going to be that much of an issue, but it is good to know that this is a possibility. Maybe like one light from the front, 5, just a little fill light, to just give this a little bit of brilliance. Also maybe there, contact shadow, yeah. Okay, very good. So, what else could we talk about with basic chrome? Yeah, so we have the roughness we can play with. If you want to code it, similar to with the wood, it's the same here. You can have a metal that is brushed, and then we put a coat over it. It's the same process here. So this could, for example, be very blurry, and then this is the clear reflection on top. What was it I wanted to show now? Oh my god, I just lost my train. Oh yeah, so since we're talking about a lag here, what I thought would be interesting to show now is how we can turn this from a rectangular into a circular pipe. So this is all good. Let's turn this one off for the moment. So we see actually there is this one. So we have, just to repeat now, this very basic shape, which we bevel and then we skin, and now we put another bevel over it. You notice the radius there, 0.02, sorry, the diameter, not radius. Let's set this to centimeters, no? 2 centimeters. So that means if we give this object now another bevel modifier, and we set this to only bevel angles, and 9.5 millimeters, then we get actually an interesting shape like this. And then when we give this 10 segments, there's our pipe. Isn't that actually an easy, funny way how to turn square stock into round stock? The only important thing is, well, we could also, if we want, just bevel the edges. Now then you can see that the metallic reflection will look a tick better, because we also have this highlight here. So this is definitely something you want to have anyway. So 3 millimeters, which is actually quite big. Yeah, no, very nice. Or even when we go out here, they see how beautiful this highlight comes down. Let's take this off. Now you see very brutalist, computer generated sharp surfaces. We don't have this. This is more realistic. But if we want to take this square stock and turn it into a pipe, now we just need to know what's the diameter, which is 2 centimeters. We could type in 1, but chances are high that via the rounding there we can get these sharp edges, because this is basically where all these 4/4 arcs for the fillet meet each other. So they create an artifact. So we say 9.5 millimeters. There's a tiny gap in between. If we go to wireframe mode, can we actually see this in wireframe mode? Let's go to a side view maybe. Yeah, there. There you can see here, this is actually tiny tick short. This is now too big. 0.4, 0.3. Okay, no, this is all evened out. This is not truly a circle, but again, for a concept model, totally does it. These pipes, when bent, won't really look as perfect anyway, particularly here, the material will be compressed. So for a quick concept model, this is perfectly fine. The downside of this method is the bottoms here, they are round. So we would have to, at one point, bake these elements or use the trim tool to cut it off. This is fine, again, for a quick, how does this look with square stock? How does this look with round stock? For that explorative phase, this modeling technique, even with issues, is totally fine. Perfection is nice. Perfection can, however, also take time and sometimes lead you away from simply exploring ideas. Very good. So this was our basic introduction into how to create a metallic reflection like chrome in Blender. Let's say we want to turn this into aluminum. How do we do this? Super easy. Sandblasted aluminum, I mean. Just there, increase it. Maybe then this we can lower a little bit. And let's say we want to anodize it. There's our anodized aluminum. I hope, again, even here with this quick comparison, you can see what I mentioned in a few videos before. These programs don't know what is metallic, what's plastic. We just deal with clarity of reflection, color of the body, roughness of the reflection, transparency, and how we combine all this, that actually then that generates the illusions of our objects or materials.